perfect.
Tap, tap, tap.
Yep. Easiest way to tell.
Right.
Okay, looks like YouTube's good. Let me check Twitch.
Check
Twitch
the
is good.
Okay.
We're good.
All right. And
Awesome.
Marty, you'll take...
I
Oh, you okay, Justin?
Yeah, I just remembered. I better get the soundboard ready.
Okay, fair enough.
Justin, you're going to intro us, all right?
Yep, I'll
Otherwise-
intro and Marty, you'll lead.
Okay.
Jesse, you just keep pressing all those sexy buttons that you do so well at. Wow! What are you? I'm in awe. Like, that is wow. All right.
Oh, yeah.
I think you need to keep that at the beginning of the show, actually. So I think what you need to do. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Nintendo Dads episode 258, recorded on December 11th, 2019. On tonight's episode, we're on the eve of the 2019 Game Awards. What is Nintendo going to do? What are they going to surprise us with? We're going to discuss. Plus, yesterday was the Indies World Showcase. We got a ton of games, some shocking, some almost made me fall out of my seat. We're going to talk about that as well. Plus, is Redbox getting out of the video game rental and sales business? And why do we care? So much more. Plus, we're being joined by Alex Van Aken from OK Beast. Jesse, cue the music.
Hey, what's up, everybody? And welcome to episode 258 of Nintendo Dads. This is Marty Estes, and reports of my death are greatly exaggerated. No, seriously, it's good to be back on the show. I had to take a break for a few weeks, but I missed you. I missed all of you. If you're a listener, if you're just anybody associated with this thing, I missed you guys.
Like, what were you like neglecting any human contact? Like, what is your... What, most people come back and like, man, I loved my break from you guys.
No, I miss being on the show. There was just some life circumstances and Thanksgiving and all kinds of other stuff that made it where I couldn't be on the show, and just 3 weeks of it, and then it's like, getting close to being on this week, and there was the realization of, man, I miss those guys. Hadn't.
Well, we are moderately fond of you.
Well, I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
So I guess the feeling's not mutual.
And then with us recording Wednesday night instead of Thursday night, we weren't even sure if you'd be available tonight.
I know, and you just went ahead and did it and didn't even ask me. I mean, it was just like, yeah, you're going to be on.
That's a very true story. Like, you don't show up for one show and you're pretty much dead to me, like burned salt of the earth. I'm like, moving on, guys.
Yeah. So anyway, it's good to be back. Played a ton of games, ate a ton of turkey, went to Tampa, Florida, and back to do some cool stuff there. I was invited to come and do a live recording of my other podcast there at the National Youth Workers Convention, which was really fun and really awesome. Met some really cool people and had a great time. But it's good to be back in the saddle here. And you've already heard there Justin Masson from the Great White North. Can I ask, is snow on the ground right now up there?
Of course there's snow on the ground, eh? It's always snowing up in Canada. It's I got on my Moosen and just came this way, eh?
I just wondered if there was snow. I didn't ask you if you were eating Timbits and
oh sure. No, sure. Now I had my Timbits this morning there, you crazy hoser. You know what I'm saying there.
At least I can understand you.
You crazy bugger. No, yeah, there's a little bit of snow on the ground. For sure there is a little bit. So nothing too tragic. It's about minus 10 today.
They forecast earlier this week that we were going to get anywhere. You'll love this snow forecast, right? You're going to receive anywhere from 1/2 inch to 4.5 inches of snow.
There's a very inappropriate joke I have there regarding forecasting.
You know how much we got?
0.
None.
Rain. That's what we got.
So the forecast was wrong, even though it had a huge range.
Yeah, and also joining us this week, Mr. Jesse Waldak, straight from the land of, I was going to say the land of ice and snow, but what are you the land of up there?
Barbecue. You're the land of barbecue.
Okay, I'll give
Land
you
of
that.
flat dirt and barbecue.
No, it's Iowa is flat.
Oh God,
But,
Iowa's
yeah.
flat.
In fact-
I've driven through Iowa before.
Legitimately, though, like KC and hanging out with Jesse is my favorite point of when I go there because they have just tremendously great barbecue. And like I'm only there usually for about 5 or 6 days, but I leave with the meat sweats. So I don't know how like you're there constantly and being okay because I'm pretty sure I would sweat.
Can we
barbecue sauce.
define that term for people who maybe are a little more classy than Nintendo
Sure.
dads? And,
Yeah. The meat sweats.
Like, because I mean, I use the term frequently because I have them frequently.
Yeah. Yeah, so the meat sweats.
Let's zoom in on that.
As I define it, is you have eaten a large amount of meat, potentially a brisket, potentially a lot of ribs, maybe had some chicken wings with your ribs. Who knows? It's a lot of meat going into your body, and then all of a sudden you feel sluggish. And then you start feeling warm and sort of uncomfortable, and maybe your top button gets undone. Then you realize you're sweating. And you realize that you can almost feel your chest beginning to like harden, but you also smell like barbecue sauce. And that's the meat sweats. And it's glorious, but it is also very close to death.
Yeah. That meat has to go somewhere, right? All that grease has to go somewhere.
It does.
Out of course.
Well, last week, one of our patrons, JC, was in town, and so I took him to Joe's Kansas City, where I took you last time you were in town, and we had a good talk and discussion, and it was fun. We both enjoyed
awesome. I will be invited to Joe's Kansas City at some point, I'm sure. If I'm ever up there.
Listen, we just about burned you last episode, so don't be inviting no barbecue or accept no barbecue.
Well, yeah, I know.
We're more likely to invite Mr. Alex Van Aken from OKB. Segway,
man, you caught me off guard.
I was wondering how we were going to do that.
Right, Alex? What is going on? How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you guys doing? Thanks so much for having me on.
No worries. Thank you for joining us. And the thing I would also appreciate is that, Alex, of course, you are in the only time zone that matters.
Yes,
Mountain Standard Time, right?
Finally.
Thank you. Nobody else appreciates that.
I feel like 20% of Americans don't even know that Mountain Standard Time exists. So
right?
It's a problem.
I mean, it's
even,
the only
even
time
Les
zone
knows.
that's really never mentioned on anything.
Mm-hmm.
You always hear about Pacific Standard Time. You always hear about CST. You hear about EST. Nobody lives out.
Probably even less people know about how Arizona handles MST.
Oh,
I know. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, those poor buggers. Yeah. They're confused every day. I would love for just like one time, like for Nintendo to put out there, like, hey, it's we've got a Nintendo Direct, and just put out like MST, and just watch like everyone be like, what's
watch the
MST?
internet explode.
Yeah, like. What do you think it's a typo? Do you think it's EST? No, it's PST. What the hell's going on? Like it would just. I think it would just.
Is that the time it is in England?
Yeah, it would just break everyone's brain. So
another thing here I want to throw out here that Alex, we want to thank you for being on the show because Alex is actually under the weather, right? Feeling sick. Yeah. He's pushing through like a trooper.
Yeah, I couldn't pass up this opportunity. So
you say that now. In about an hour from now, you'll be like, why? Why did you do that?
Come back to us in about an hour. And speaking of that, we probably need to go ahead and dive into the news, don't we, gentlemen?
We should probably do that. Let's do it.
Let's try that again.
Come on.
I go away for 3 weeks and y'all forget how to play the bumpers and everything.
Don't get started with me. Don't get started with me.
You know what we do need to get started with, though, is we need to get started with thanking the fine folks over at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads who bring us the news every week here. Justin.
Yes.
There you are. I just wanted to be sure you're still listening. Tell the fine listeners here, if they are not a member of our Patreon, why should they be?
Well, that's a great question, Marty. Because it's good. God, you threw to me and I had nothing, Marty. Come on now. Why would you join Patreon? Well, first and foremost, I think the first thing that I love most about it, right, is the fact that you get access to our Discord. And why is that Discord so important? Because it's an amazing opportunity for family, for friends, community members to come together and share opportunities, to share life stories, to share births of children, share the games we're playing, and really fostering that community that we so desperately need. It's you know what I would call? I'd call it a safe space. I'd call it a safe space for you to come and enjoy what you're passionate about. And that's why going over to patreon.com/Nintendo Dads is a great idea. For as little as $1 a month, you can help us make amazing content. And the other great thing is, hey, because of Patreon, we're ad-free. I'm not going to tell you about Third Love. I'm not going to tell you about Manscaped. You know why? Alex gets this reference. Do you know why? Because they're not paying for our ads. That's exactly why. All right? And because you keep us ad-free. We appreciate the nearly 100 Patreon supporters that help us every single month. Thank you from the bottom of our heart. We do greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, shout out.
Helps us keep this content going.
Yeah. See, you did it after all. You did a great job.
I was completely distracted by our amazing chat that's going on both in Twitch and YouTube right now, and you really did catch me completely.
Well, I was just going to say, like, you hit the nail on the head there about the community, and that's really, for me, is, and full disclosure here, I'm on the show and I'm still a patron, right? Mm-hmm. I was a patron before. I'm still a patron, and I will be, even if I'm never on the show again, because the community that exists around Nintendo Dads there in the Discord is just top notch.
Really? Because you told me in the pre-show it's just because you can't figure out how to cancel it. That's what you told me. Nonetheless, let's move on, folks.
Yeah. I earned that one. That's fine. That's fine. Speaking of moving on, let's talk about this Indie World Direct, right? So Nintendo dropped an announcement on us earlier this week that an Indie World presentation would air on Tuesday at midday in the only time zone that matters, Central Standard Time. And they spent nearly 20 minutes outlining, let's be honest here, guys, a ton of games for 2020, indie related. Not very many for right now. In fact, most of the ones that were 2019 were immediate release games. Yeah, and we did get, I think it was, 3 immediate release games? No, two immediate release games. And so just going around the horn here, I think, Justin, help me out here. Probably the best way for us to talk about this is just for us to talk about our favorite games from this instead of trying to hit each one.
Yeah.
So let's start with our guest here, Alex. This is a tradition here on the Nintendo Dad Show that guests go first. Awesome. So out of this Indie World presentation, what caught your eye?
So I am a massive fan of Golf Story,
yes.
which came out in 2017. One of my favorite indie games ever. One of my favorite Switch games ever. And now that the Golf Story is getting a sequel, it was announced it's called Sports Story. And it is kind of, there's going to be golf in this game. And if people aren't familiar, it's essentially like an RPG meets like a 2D RPG meets golf. That was the first game. And now they are expanding that to tennis, to fishing, to all sorts of different sports. And so I am very excited because if you never played that game, number one, just felt great to play as far as like a golf sports game. They had so many different activities, so many fun activities to do that related to the mechanics of golf that kept the game from being boring whatsoever and constantly laughing because the humor in the game is just so good. So that's probably my number one pick is Sports Story, which I believe they opened the show up with.
They did.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they have some good Rumble support like they did with Golf Story because that's still the best use of Rumble that I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's so good.
Now, I agree with that. And it was such a well-done game. Just for me, though, it didn't grab me. Like, I downloaded it just like everybody else during that time. But I've never been a huge golf fan.
Sure, okay.
So I know that there was more to it than that. But it was just like, I don't know. I got to maybe I got about 7 or 8 hours into the game. And it just petered away. I mean, there was more coming down the pike that was demanding my attention around that time.
Sure.
But I really love that it's getting a sequel because it was a huge boon to the Switch when it first came out. Tons of people talking about it, and it is a Switch exclusive, although it's half a year away.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I do want to throw in here too that like Golf Story has one of the coolest limited run special editions physical that I've seen, like the trophy. And all that stuff. So I expect probably more of that with this game.
I don't own many like video game shirts, but I do have a Golf Story shirt that I got through one of those sites. Love that game. But I totally get if you are not a golf fan, I can see. I wouldn't say I'm a golf fan, but I was like forced to play it as a kid, and so I have a lot of knowledge about the sport, and so I loved how they like kind of played into that stuff, but also like twisted it and kind of brought something new to it as well. So that's kind of where I'm coming from with it.
Cool. Anything else catch your eye in this presentation?
I'm a big fan of puzzle games, and I never played the Talos Principle, which is now coming to Switch. And actually, it was one of the games that is out now. And so I've been looking forward to playing that game because I've heard good things. I've seen some videos and some other writing on the game, and it seems like it's really up my alley. A lot of like visual puzzles, like you're walking around a 3D space and kind of changing the environment in certain ways to solve puzzles. So really excited for that to be on Switch. What about you guys?
Jesse, what about you, man?
Okay. I agree with the Talos Principle, and I did buy it and started playing it. I'll talk about that later in the show. Awesome. Again, I also agree with the sports story, but a game that hasn't yet been mentioned is Murder by Numbers. It looks like a Phoenix Wright type of visual novel game mixed with Picross. So sure, that's like it's like what games does Laffer like? Let's make that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like they mined your memories or your right. Like secret list or something. It was like,
and then
how do we get Jesse to buy this game?
Right.
Oh, we'll just make it Murder Mystery Picross.
Okay, and then another game that I'm confused on, yet still slightly intrigued, is Boyfriend Dungeon.
Okay.
That it's kind of a visual novel dating sim dungeon crawler where you are a female protagonist and the weapons you find turn into human males that you can then date. I wrote in the notes kind of reverse Xenoblade 2 style. Because that's what they did.
Yeah. I'm not usually a dating sim person. To be fair, I've never really given them a fair shake.
Neither am I, but there's like so many different elements that may or may not come together well, and I'm interested in finding out.
Yeah, I think like just looking at that trailer that they showed off, even like the gameplay aspects of it, take the narrative out, take the dating sim out, like the moment to moment gameplay of the dungeon crawling looked really fun. Yeah. So I feel like that's kind of like pulling me towards it.
Yeah, I'm actually on Nintendo's press page right now, and as we're talking about these games, there's kind of a quick synopsis of it. And I love Boyfriend Dungeon. This is from Kit Fox Games, by the way. Their last statement here is, Boyfriend Dungeon wants to be more than just friends with the Nintendo Switch in 2020. I was like, somebody had a lot of fun writing that PR.
That
is, you know what I'm saying?
That's super creepy.
That's some good press.
Yeah, that's very creepy. Justin, what about you? Anything from this list stick out to you?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I did a live stream of it yesterday. So if you haven't had a chance to check out my live reacts, you can definitely check that out on our YouTube page as well. But for those of you that were watching it on Twitch, I just about fell out of my chair when Dauntless was finally announced with the release time. I'm usually not one of the people who like overexcites or overhypes on these types of streams, but I was genuinely excited. So Dauntless definitely had my attention.
I think you're famous for being underexcited.
Right? Yeah. Sometimes I do under reactions, and that was one of them.
Like your Pokemon live stream was kind of depressing.
I know, right? Well, Pokemon is kind of depressing. Come fight me, right? Come at me, bro. No, I was really excited for Dauntless, and we're going to talk about that during what we've been playing. But that one we had actually heard about back in E3, and I didn't actually think that was going to show up here because I didn't really consider it an indie developer or what they'd be considering under that camp. But the other part of it was that it was out now, which was even better. So Dauntless was definitely on my radar. And just for those of you that don't know, Dauntless is a online action RPG. It is a free-to-play online world, and basically it's kind of like Monster Hunter, but your objective is very quick. It's just you go slay the behemoths with your friends, and it's got cross-play. So there's a lot to dig into, and I've kind of been trying to find something that might substitute my Fortnite strong
Wait,
Fortnite addiction.
You play Fortnite?
Oh yeah. Yeah, are we off now, Alex? Are we no longer friends?
No, we are closer than ever before.
Sweet. Are we spirit animals? Because I'm excited about this. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what happens.
We need to get in on that Pleasant Park drop, that Moisty Meyer drop.
Alex's spirit animal is Justin Moosen.
I'm not gonna lie to you right now, Alex. I'm sitting at tier. I've completed my battle pass. I'm at 100 level 120, and I'm just waiting for something.
Dude, okay. I'm level 90. I hit 99 today, so
okay.
I'm 1 tier away from 100. And I feel like we're gonna get something new soon, but I'm sorry to detract the show.
That's okay. This may be actually just sitting in this brief pocket for 1 second though, because so for those who don't like Fortnite, you may want to tune out for the next 3 minutes. Did you hear they're not doing anything for the next 2 months?
No, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, there is an article in Forbes. They are not doing a new battle pass. Yeah, they're not doing a winter. They're just letting it set with Chapter 1 for the next 2 months. Apparently, they are doing events, but like, what you got is what you got.
You know, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. No. I'm not okay with that.
I'm okay. No, but here's the thing. For those of us who are casual Fortnite players, which I would say there's probably more of than people realize, who are, level 13, because I don't play online a lot. I like that I like that I'm not buying a new battle pass every 90 days, right? Like I feel like that their strategy going forward may win them a little bit more if they do pace it out some.
Yeah. So we'll come back to a Fortnite chat maybe later. So, but Alex, we'll definitely have to hook up because I think we may be aligned. So yeah, Dauntless was the one I was excited about. The other one I do want to call attention to that no one has mentioned yet, which was kind of the banger that they ended the show with, which was Axiom Verge 2 being announced from Thomas Happ Games. And I thought that was really exciting. I really loved Axiom Verge. I was hoping, I think like some of us around the internet were, that actually it was like a surprise. He had been working on like an actual official Metroid, kind of like Cadence of Hyrule was with Zelda, but like his full spin on it. I think we were all hoping for that, but Axiom Verge 2 definitely had my attention. Marty, what about yourself, sir?
Well, I mean, you stole my big one, which was that, but I mean, it didn't really steal it. I mean, somebody was going to talk about it eventually. Like, I loved Axiom Verge, played it on the Wii U back in the day and finished it there, and just got such a good game. And then hearing Thomas Happ's story of his son and what, sales of Axiom Verge were able to do for him and different things like that, like just it made me love the game even more. I'm so glad that there's another game, that wasn't just a one-time thing, right? So and it looks great. It looks like a ton of fun. And I mean, I remember playing that game and like thinking about the whole Metroid thing and going, man, this guy gets it. Like, he gets Metroid. He's basically made one of the best Metroid games of all time. He just can't call it Metroid. Yeah. So I was super excited about that. But the other game that I was really, 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 really excited about was Super Mash.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, eh?
Where you take the different genres of games and you mash them up, and you get the one game that is like, it's almost roguelike in a way because it's different every time you play. And the developer even gave away a code during the direct or the presentation for his favorite Super Mash. Like, guys, this game screams drop into, play me for 5 minutes, and get out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then throw your Switch against the wall.
Yeah, being able to. Well, and it even says, I mean, they were even open about it in the presentation about some of them work and some of them don't.
Yeah. I actually like that a lot.
Yeah,
it kind of felt endearing.
The just the possibilities of it and the ability to unlock different things and carry it over to I guess genres that normally wouldn't be there. Like, I noticed that you could like unlock a flamethrower, so I guess you can eventually throw that into like a puzzle game or something. Which, like, the whole exploring the possibilities of that are endless. And that one was the one that really just grabbed me. I be honest that this was probably not my favorite indie world or indie presentation so far. It felt like a lot of the games were very distant because it just kept saying 2020, 2020, and I'm like, well, why are you showing it to us now? So I guess build the hype, but I mean, I'm looking through our list, and there are a lot of first half, early, January, but just not a lot that just really jumped out and grabbed me. I did like Streets of Rage 4 too, because it's been a while since I played a good quality scrolling beat 'em up. I think the River City Girls was the last one I played, but it was kind of barren before that too. But it looks just super good. Like the art style looks amazing. So I'm really excited about that. I like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, Shadow Drop today, please. and it didn't. But like, somebody asked me about this presentation, and I would honestly have to give it like a 6 out of 10 for me. Like, it didn't feel very hyped. It didn't feel like it didn't, like a lot of the old indie presentations. They kind of still had like that blockbuster, like there's one game, right?
Yeah.
So I wonder, how did y'all feel? Like, where would it fall on a rating system for you guys? Like, if we were doing out of 10, where does this presentation fall?
Alex, what do you think?
Yeah, I'd say it's probably a 7 for me. Like, I'm kind of with you. Like, it does stink that there weren't necessarily. I'm trying to separate it from like a Nintendo Direct, because it is different expectations there, right? And so when I look at it from the perspective of, okay, they're going to show off some indies, then I kind of rank it higher. You know what I mean? But I'd probably say a 7. I mean, Sports Story was massive, like a massive announcement for me. And so if you said like they did Sports Story and then let it be static for 30 minutes, I still would have given it like a 6. Like Sports Story is like really high up there for me, and so for that I have to give it a lot. But I'm not an Axiom Verge fan, but I really like Tom Happ as a person. He's helped us out occasionally with like Extra Life and stuff like that, like a great human. So I'm excited to see him have his work be honored and all that kind of stuff. But then there's also other smaller things that I'm interested in, like the Survivalists, which is brought to you by Team 17, I think.
Yep.
And it's like it's set in the same universe as the prison game, the Escapists. And so yeah, thank you. And so there's a lot of little nuggets that I'm looking forward to. Only like a couple like big ones that I was like, oh yes, let's go. Maybe really just one, but for that, I think I'd probably give it a 7. One big announcement for me, and then several nuggets that I'm like, okay, that looks interesting. Like, I want to give that a try. So that's kind of where I'm at.
I find that so interesting because to me, the Survivalist was the lowest point of the presentation. Like, I looked at that game and I thought the actual first thought that came to my mind was everything is crafting now.
That is true. Yeah. I am a big crafting fan, like a big like a survival game fan, and so I play a lot of bad games because I'm like constantly trying to find the next one that's going to hit, and so I can definitely recognize that. I can definitely appreciate that sentiment.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with Alex. Like I'd give it pretty much a 7 as well. Like I definitely had some good beats for me that I was excited about. I think and I think the interesting story that you tell there, Marty, and I think one of the things about and I'm noticing in our chat here a bit of a kind of a laugh. Like Sean Capri says, does anyone want to tell Marty that 2020 is literally in 20 days, so we're not that far away, really? I do get the commentary there, but there's a lot of like it's mid 2020, late 2020, sometime in 2020.
Axiom was like fall, right?
Yeah, fall, right?
Yeah.
And
I mean, I can read a calendar, guys.
Yeah. Super or Smash Up is or Super Smash, right? And I was like, no, Super Smash is not right. Is Super Smash. Thank you. Is slated for May of 2020. The problem that I have with the Nindies in general, and I think it's a little bit of the commentary you're kind of making there too, also, Alex, is that they can come out and they can make a comment like, hey, here's the game, it's coming eventually. But we have a lot of games that we still have hanging threads on from 2018 and 2019 that never came to fruition.
Yeah,
right.
I just looked at my spreadsheet, and there are 46 games listed as 2019 that still have no.
Yeah, a great.
The closest date is we have One Finger Death Punch 2 at December.
Yeah, like a couple ones that like stand out to me just because of the genre that I like. But like, where is Super Meat Boy Forever?
That's still a TBD.
Yeah, I played that at the first build of it where I met with Tommy at EGX 2017 in September, and so we're 2 years past a demo time where I played.
Are we at a point now where like it and Kentucky Route Zero are the ones that we've been waiting on the longest?
I don't know. Probably.
I think they were announced in the same presentation, like the very first one that Damon did.
Yeah, Dauntless was a TBD before this event, which was then turned into today.
Yeah, and Dauntless had my attention since E3, and I've kind of like every Thursday when the eShop arrived, it had been sitting at TBD. So I'd go and I'd check that, and I'm like, oh, it's not coming. It's not coming. It's always TBD. So finally, but I mean, another one is Blood Roots. Actually, I don't know if you guys that one.
I did see them tweet the other day saying that it's going through QA or it was through QA. Yes. I can't remember what they said. But
yeah, you know what, Alex, I think you and I are becoming best friends. I think we definitely have a lot in common here. This is great. Still waiting for Red Lantern. Someone said Rokai or Roki. Someone said Inca, Minocat's Midnight Market. So there's a lot. Yeah, I think it's a cat one, right?
Here's the thing. I guess maybe if I'm really drilling down and being honest about it, like I've been thinking about it as you were talking, and something that I realized I was disappointed about with this is that there's a number of games that were shown off on past indie presentations that have since then appeared on Apple Arcade that have now had no mention on Switch. And I'm the two I'm thinking of specifically are Shantae and the Seven Sirens and Inmost.
Oh yeah, Inmost. Yeah.
Like nothing against my iPad or anything, but I really don't want to play them on my iPad. Yeah. I would really like to play them on my Switch.
Yeah.
And so I would have just like, even if it was just, hey, they're still coming, like an update, because this whole Apple Arcade exclusivity, when does it end? Like, how long is that locked down for? Point. Is it 3 months? Is it 6 months? Just
when the dump truck of money rolls away, that's when it ends, right? Yeah. But I do think that's. I mean, so I guess in some ways, so there's this kind of like weird peaks and valleys with, I think, indie hype, right, or excitement, right? Because indies are indie games are games that you can very easily be like, oh man, I saw that, right? So I'm super excited for Sports Story, right? And then you just kind of forget it's there because you have a Nintendo Direct and here's Animal Crossing and there's all these other games and by the way, this one you wanted 5 months ago shows up and you're like, oh, well, I remember seeing that and I'll purchase it. And you kind of forget about it and then all of a sudden they're in the eShop and they pop up with maybe a little bit of fanfare and you're like, oh yeah, that game, right? So they kind of play this weird, it's kind of like the appetizers or the little fillers between the large courses that we have, right? Tourist is a great example of it, right? Tourist came out in early to mid-November. We saw an indie. Now, this is a little bit of a juxtaposition to what I'm saying here, but we saw that video, the trailer for that, and chat, correct me if I'm wrong, it was either early September or late August. It was right in that time frame. And then everyone just kind of forgets about it. You're like, oh, that's super cute, and maybe you make a note of it and you say something, and then you're like, oh, it's here.
We first heard about it August 19th, and then it was updated with the release date November 7th.
Okay.
So November 21.
And then it just kind of pops up, and you're like, oh, yeah, it's here, right? And then you just kind of, you jump into it, you have a great time, and you move on. So there's this kind of weird dichotomy and fluctuation with how we look at them as well. I think the other part of it is that, I think, we want these indies to do well. Right, we want to support local, smaller developers. Right, we know that when Nintendo puts out Animal Crossing, we know that we're going to all send our money to them. Right, whatever it is. Right, whatever their next big game is, here's just take my credit card. But when you see like a small developer making quality, you want to support it. And I think to your point a little bit there, Alex, Thomas Happ's a great example. You might not be a fan of Axiom Verge, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm going to tell you that I'm going to purchase Axiom Verge 2 without touching it, without playing it, regardless of kind of what's going on. If it's pre-purchase, I'll pre-purchase it. Why? Because I trust him. I know his quality, his stuff, and I know his story. right? His individual story, and you're connected to those things, right? And I said that on the stream as well. And there are developers like that you want to just kind of trust instantly, right?
Yeah.
I think indies and nindies allow for that personal connection. The folks over at, oh my gosh, my brain is blanking right now. SteamWorld.
Image and
Forum, right? Great example. Hard to argue maybe they're indie anymore, quote unquote, whatever we call that, right? But I think they're an example of that.
Yeah, I think Devolver Digital is a great example of that for me. I haven't really played anything Devolver has put out that I went, wow, I hate this.
Yeah.
For the most part, their stuff they pick and choose really well, and their stuff is quality. But guys, that is our time with Indie World. We would love to hear listeners what your favorite game from Indie World was. So tweet us, hit us up on Facebook, email us, share with us what from this really grabbed you and stuck out to you. Because it's with us, it's been like something different for everybody, right?
Yeah,
that's a beautiful thing about it.
Yeah, I did put that question in our chat as well, both on Twitch and YouTube, where you can watch us live. Third Strongest Mole says Sports Story and Streets of Rage 4 stood out for him. Oh, and he also mentioned curious about Bake and Switch, which is kind of like a little bit of an overcooked look to it as well. Of course, I think everything nowadays seems to be overcooked when it's a 4-player local. Let me see what else kind of stands out here. I saw...
Skatebird.
Skatebird. I see that one in the chat. Debone says Axiom Verge makes it a 10. Absolutely. Yeah, Skatebird is an interesting one as well. What else I miss? Anything else there? I think those are the kind of the ones. So, yeah. But guys, tweet us. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, absolutely. So, let's talk a little bit about Tetris 99 because it got an interesting update this week. I don't know how many people are still playing the game. It's always full when I go in. It's one of my favorite kind of time killers on Switch. But this week it was updated to 2.0.1, which added in the team battle mode, which allows you to pick one of 4 teams. And if you got knocked out, you could still spectate. You could still cheer on your team, possibly get extra points and get credit for the win. Also, previous themes have now been made available for 30 tickets each. Holy crap, that's a lot of tickets. Considering you get 4 a day, maybe?
Yeah.
At most, you can get 4 a day. And the other themes are 15 tickets each.
Okay, so Game Boy, Tetris, Splatoon, Fire Emblem, Three Houses, and Super Kirby Clash are out right now, presumably with Pokemon and Luigi's Mansion to come later. Also announced was the 10th Maximus Cup, which is coming up on the weekend of December 12th through December 16th. That's a little bit longer than normal.
Yeah, and that's
usually it's only 2 days.
That's 11 o'clock Pacific on December 12th, so it's effectively December 13th.
Yeah, that's true.
There's no skin with the Maximus, right? Like the other ones you typically win.
No, this is just one where you can win if you win the top, you get 999.
Well, I think they do that with all of them, but
right.
Now, is the free update? Let me ask you this: do you have to have because there's the Tetris 99 that we can all get for free for being Nintendo Switch owners, and then there is the DLC pack that you can purchase for $12.
You can play Team Battle without owning the DLC. Because I saw Bittner from Game Explained demo it, and he did not buy the DLC, but still was able to play Team Battle.
Okay. Yeah. Alex, do you have 99 blocks, and is a Tetris one of them? Problem. How do you feel about Tetris 99?
Tetris 99, excuse me, is a game that I wish I could get into, but my severe severe lack of skill prohibits me from getting into it. I like Tetris. I like Tetris-like games, but I am not good at them per se, and not enough to be in a competitive battle royale setting. And so I have occasionally picked up Tetris 100. What is it? Tetris 99. I'm sorry.
Yep.
I've picked it up a couple times, but I have one, I was having trouble getting my head wrapped around the rules, and two, I would just suck. So
I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's one that I've always wanted to get into, but just haven't been able to. So
this
I
update,
like the fandom.
Nice.
This update also adds something that people have been asking for a long time, which is button configuration options, which may not seem like a big deal to a lot of people, but for people who really, really like to play Tetris, they want to be able to change the way that which button rotates things and which, if they can, I don't know about the hard drop or things like that, but user emblems also included with this. So it's pretty robust little free update for people, especially if they don't have the DLC, adding in that extra team mode. I'll have to check that out. I downloaded it, but I haven't gotten to play it yet. Speaking of downloads, I do want to mention this very quickly before we move on. Cubic Games is giving away 10 free games on the Nintendo Shop over this next month. You only have to purchase one title to be eligible, and you can do their title called Coloring Book, which is free, and that actually starts the chain. So if you download Coloring Book, then until December 15th, you can download their game Robonauts for free. Then on December 16th, Geki Yaba Runner becomes free. Then on December 17th, Puzzle Book becomes free. December 18th, One Strike is free. The 19th, Wrecking Ball Adventure is free. The 20th, Coloro is free. The 21st, Race Die Run is free. On the 22nd, Wrecked is free. On 23rd, their brand new game Mana Spark is free. And then on the 24th, a brand new game, which has not been released yet, will be made available for free as a gift to people who have downloaded all 10 previous games.
So just to understand here, you go to the eShop, you purchase the first game for free, the Coloring Book.
Yes.
And then you will get 10 other games free?
You must go in and download them after that.
Like you have to go any in Cubic game. Download. Yeah, any Cubic game counts. Since I bought Not earlier this year, that counts. So I don't need a Coloring Book. So I'm flagged as owning one of their games. So I can then. Yeah. I went in and downloaded Robonauts, and then since I have now that game in my library, on the 16th I can get the next game and then get one free game free.
But until here, it's important to mention this here, that if you miss a game in the chain, you are out.
Well, you can
unless you buy the game.
Yeah, you can buy the game, but they will be on sale.
Yeah,
and there is a sale going on now.
Very deep discount.
Yeah, some
Any of those games interest you, Alex?
Never heard of them.
Fair enough. I'm glad I wasn't the only one.
But Robonauts, I feel like I might have heard about Robonauts before.
Robonauts is, we actually got this one as a review code way back in the day.
Cool.
It's a very arcadey style 2D shooter with a twist, and that is that you control this robot who can flip gravity and go back and forth between planets.
It's like Mario Galaxy physics.
Yeah, it's like 2D Mario Galaxy, but with a robot that shoots. And it's
this is gorgeous.
Hard. It's actually a lot of fun. It's very, very, it feels very much like an arcade game. And it's definitely worth it. So, I mean, even if you've not started this chain, go download Coloring Book and get Robonauts free. The rest of them, I know nothing about. I do know that I've looked at Mana Spark. It's $10 right now in the eShop. And as of today, it was in the top 10 bestsellers without even being free.
Jeez.
So,
look all these up.
I mean, you're going to get at least, I think probably out of this, people will get at least a couple of games they like, but that's huge.
And I'm going to download them and
catalog.
I'm going to download them all and try them all. But actually, to be honest, until I heard about the December 24th thing on an unannounced game, I was going to pass because none of these games really interest me. They wouldn't be my thing. But for free, what do I have to lose other than my own time?
But here's one of the things that I would say, that if you are a new parent who is listening to this, and maybe you or maybe Santa Claus has got little Sally or Johnny a Nintendo Switch for Christmas potentially, and maybe it's already in your shop or maybe Santa's shop, and obviously Santa or you would of course want to make sure it's up to date. and everything's running, this might be a good opportunity for you to actually fill out some of those games for them, right? So you might be able to go in and start downloading some of these games early if you do this methodology, so that when they turn on their Nintendo Switch on Christmas Day, they could have a flood of games available on their Nintendo Switch to play and to try out. And of course, if they don't like them, they can easily delete them, but they would not have costed you pretty much anything.
Hey, Justin, I've heard that Santa has devoted an entire division of elves to doing this for Nintendo Switches.
Oh, I suspect they're very,
There's
very
a whole
busy.
Room where this is.
There's this one guy
downloading elf cabal.
Just imagine like one grumpy elf. Like, what do you want? Another one of these games? Stupid, the Pokemons.
And then knowing my kids are kind of money crunching right now, they're on their own and just still trying to figure things out. I'll let them know, hey, you can get 11 free games here if I told them, most likely you're not going to like many of them, but they're free, so give them a try.
I mean, coloring book is exactly what you think it is.
Yeah.
It's a coloring book. My daughter loves it. She thought it was great.
Yeah. My wife would probably get a kick out of Puzzle Book.
Because they both I've told my kids, I was like, both of y'all download these games. Come on. I mean, you'll at least find something you like probably in there.
So go ahead, Alex.
Oh, I was just saying, I Googled Mana Spark, and this seems like a game that I might like, actually. So I need to get on this train.
There you go. Set a reminder on your phone every single day, right? Like, go to get
download free game. Speaking of games, if you've ever used a Redbox kiosk in, the last few years to rent a game or, try out a game to see if it was something you would like to buy, this next little discussion here that we're going to have may be for you. So let's discuss the bombshell announcement of Redbox getting out of the video game rental market. So by a show of hands, which no one on this on the audio part of this podcast will be able to see, but we'll fill you in. How many of us have rented a game from Redbox before?
I have.
I'm raising my hand.
All right.
I rented Spider-Man for PS4, and I tried renting God of War last year and got a photocopy of a disc.
Yeah. And we're gonna come back to that photocopy thing because I actually feel like that has something to do partly with this decision. All right, so it was announced this week that Redbox will begin phasing out video game rentals, and it seemed like it was something that possibly would happen over time. Nah, they're already selling games. They have stopped renting games, and they are only available for purchase via local Redbox kiosks now, which means, in a good way, if you're looking for a deal on a hot new game and it hasn't already been bought yet, you can go out and get things like, what's the new Star Wars game? Always Rogue
Fallen
Jedi or Fallen Order. There you go. It's $49.99 in Redbox and probably almost brand new. That's for both systems. There's WWE 2K20 and other NBA 2K20, other Borderlands 3, really popular games that have come out in the last few months are available here. But guys, this is a pretty big deal. I don't know that people actually see it that way or not, because I mean, Redbox, you think more movies than anything. But the reason I say that's a big deal is, when's the last time you went into your local video store and rented a video game?
I would say about last year for me as well, but that store now no longer exists. So
right.
I don't have any, other than maybe my library. I don't have no other place to rent games.
Right. So the idea or the reality here,
I think Mario Party was the last game I rented.
Okay. So see that the idea here is now that, or the thing we've got going on is that the only place to rent games is GameFly. Now, will this probably help GameFly? Absolutely, it will help them. But this is kind of a big deal. And so Business Justin just flew in, and he is here to talk us through.
And his arms are tired.
The business side of this decision. Justin, what do you think's going on here, man?
That's a great question. So I will be fully transparent. I've never used Redbox, so I don't have any context. I'm going to be honest, Sean. Let me know in the chat. Do we even have Redbox in Canada? I don't know if we do, but I never use it. And if we did have it, I don't know if it has games. Business Justin's thought on this. Probably the risk of having a game to rent and the cost of having it back is too high. I think the upkeep of being able to take, to keep games available would be a cost associated with it. Potentially, I lend you, I get you borrow Death Stranding, it comes back, it's all scratched to bejeebus, and you can't use it anymore. I don't know. Like, I'd love to know just from your guys' actually standpoint of like as users of it, why do you think it's not going to be going this way? And Alex, what has been your experience with like Redbox or even renting games?
Yeah, so I use Redbox frequently. I would say like probably every 4 or 5 months I'll rent a game from Redbox. Every time we do Extra Life every November, I rent several games from Redbox. Whether it's if we're playing a multiplayer game like Overwatch or something like that, and we need another copy, I'll run to Redbox, grab it for a night, and we're good to go. Or even just like if it's a game that I'm not sure if I will enjoy, like Resident Evil 2 per se, I have gone to Redbox, picked it up, installed it, and played through a little bit of it to see if I like it before I purchase it. And so that's kind of been a big way for me. I know family members of mine use Redbox a lot just to play games in general. They'll rent it 3 days at a time, take it out on a weekend when they're not busy, and play through a game, So it's so much cheaper. Granted, I feel like I buy a lot of games that I probably should Redbox instead. But I am going to miss the fact that I can't do that anymore. And then I have to either do GameFly or just rely on reviews. And I can't really get that hands-on experience anymore.
Yeah.
And Switch games were only available in certain markets. And in my market, they've advertised Switch games coming soon for a year.
Yeah,
never happened.
We never got.
And I wonder if that's a bit of the byproduct problem of it, right? So you're looking, I think something like Blockbuster, when Blockbuster was so prolific, right? Like it was on every corner. We knew the Blockbuster brand. You could go in there to get games. You could rent it, right?
Yeah. It
was a familiar process and a procedure, right? And it was a comfortable, as brick and mortar was a store. But I think the barrier to entry for something like a Redbox, which is it's literally a red box in maybe the corner of your supermarket or wherever it may be, right? And you're getting a game from it. That feels, I think, foreign to some people, right? So your casual user probably won't engage with it the same way as someone would just walk into Blockbuster and be like, oh, I can rent a movie, I can rent a game. So I think there's a barrier to entry. I think it also shrinks down your potential kind of user base, right? So there's associations with that. So I think what you could see, so if you're like, you have a small user base, you then have areas where you're not installing stuff. So for like Nintendo Switch games are a great example. You're not in, and your market is showing that there just doesn't appear to be an actual desire for it, then you're not going to progressively push it everywhere else. That's why Jesse never came to you, right? Because it just never had enough actual sales. I do think that to your point though, Alex, I think it takes away for some things, right? For that casual person who just wants to jump in, right? We know that video games continues to be an area that people are engaged in with, but you want to move mom and pop from the casual gamer on their mobile device to a console device, right? That sells more units. That's a better thing for the larger industry holistically, right? But you also don't want them to walk in and be like, oh, a game costs $80. That's hard. I'm not going to take a risk on that. I'm not going to maybe buy it. Yeah. So Redbox allowed for that sampling, right? We all had that when we were younger. Blockbuster allowed for us to sample games before you said to mom and dad, this is what I want for Christmas. This is what I want for my birthday, right? So by not having that sampling, it actually loses some of that ability for people more likely just to engage with it. So I do think that's a challenge. And I think when you're alternate, and I think, again, the U.S., you mentioned a couple of moments ago here, Alex, GameFly, right? If you were turned off by Redbox in the corner, you're probably even more turned off by the idea of GameFly, which, as I recall, is just mailing a game out to you, correct?
And, yeah, and are you guaranteed the game that you select?
No, and that's why every time I've had GameFly, like hot games, unless you've had them queued up on your list like way before release date.
Yeah.
You're not getting them.
Yeah, it's like Netflix disc rental. You queue up your games.
You had your queue, and they'd send you what was available.
Yeah, they'll start at the top of the list and work your way down if it's not available.
Yeah, there were multiple times during my last time as a GameFly member that I would have a game in my top, and it would say limited availability.
Yeah,
and then like I would assume limited availability means there's some of them out there, and then it would skip that game multiple times. And I'm like, I'm not getting the games I want. So this service, I want to play all these other games, but it's not doing what I want it to.
Yeah.
And for me, like, I didn't use Redbox Gaming all that much, but it allowed me to rent games, especially since I'm wary of AAA games, because in recent years I haven't enjoyed them as much or been disappointed by them, especially on like PS4, Xbox. It allowed me to rent those and experience them and decide for myself instead of just watching game footage or taking somebody's word for it. And so that's where I'm going to miss it. Like, I totally get it, because like Jesse said, with the theft issues, that was rampant. It was not unheard of to like pull the game out and open the case and there's a piece of paper in there. I've had it happen to me. Jesse's had it happen to him. And it's so the thing about DVDs is DVDs are cheaper, to replace. The DVD copies, so in some cases it's $10, it's $15, $20. With a game, you're paying $60 every time, $65 every time.
Well, I'm sure they get wholesale pricing, but still, that's pricey.
Right. Well, even if wholesale pricing is $40 or $35, it's still very pricey, like you said. And so I think ultimately it probably became a war of attrition. Like, how long can we keep this going without pulling it and without, raising prices or whatever? And Redbox has raised prices. I remember when it first started and it was rent this movie for 2 nights for 99 cents.
Yeah.
It's pay $1.99 and hope you better get it back in 12 hours or you're going to accrue a $10 fee or whatever.
We will come to your house.
I say $10 fee because we've banned Redbox from our house because every time we rent one, it's always like, crap, I forgot the movie. 3 days later, oh crap, we still forgot the movie. Might as well have bought it.
I've never been that bad, but there has been, it's the deadline's 9:00. I see it still on my desk 9:30, and then I do return it the next day and just pay the extra day, but it adds up.
Be very interested in hearing from some of our fans, either in the chat or over on social media, about people who were prolific users of this, service and how it's going to affect them. Because always when something like this happens, it may not be a huge footprint, but it is going to affect some people in a very negative way, because that's where they got, most of their gaming from. Either they couldn't afford it or, buy new games a lot and they were able to rent them through Redbox. And now they have no other option. It kind of makes me think back to, you remember, I guess it was a couple of years ago that GameStop was going to try you could pay a certain fee, come in and get any game, walk in and trade it out for another one.
Yeah.
For a monthly fee. Like, it kind of makes me wish that had happened.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely, it definitely makes the barrier of entry more difficult, right? And as game prices continue to rise, it's challenging, and when dollars and dimes and budgets are tight, you don't want to miss. You don't want to miss on a game, right? You don't want to waste $60 or $80. So I think there's a market for it. I just don't know how it's supported in this day and age, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like your next best option as a Redbox user, like, it's not optimal because they don't necessarily have all the latest releases, but there are occasions when they do have them is Game Pass. I know Outer Wilds came out earlier in the summer. That was a game that came to Game Pass day one. I know Outer Wilds was one of those, and it doesn't replace the fact that you can go to Game Pass and, open up Jedi Fallen Order for $3 for a night and try it out. It's a different experience for sure.
Well,
but as far as bargain goes, Well,
I wonder actually, Alex, if maybe something like Game Pass happened to help with that kind of like nail in that coffin for Redbox.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So hey, I'll just pay my $60 or whatever it is a year, and I got this, and now I have access to all these games.
I know when I was looking at our box's inventory, there's normally more Xbox One games than PS4 games.
Same here.
So that's very likely.
So I wonder, and doesn't PlayStation have a sort of a versioning of this?
Games with PlayStation Plus now.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
PS Plus. Yeah.
It's more for legacy games. Some PS2s, most PS3s. Yeah. I don't think there's many PS4 games available.
But now with Plus, you get free games every month, just like games with gold.
Yeah.
What became Game Pass? I mean, it's there, but yeah, you're right about now. It's more for the older games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's pour one out for Redbox, and maybe if you're walking past that store this week, folks, and you see that red square box in the corner by the grocery store, go over, maybe take a moment, give it a hug, and remember that it too will miss you. Do we got that cue ready there, Jesse?
No.
You son of a gun! I was queuing you up for Sarah McLachlan's "I Will Remember You" for Jesse to cue that, and he missed it. Why do we pay you? Speaking
now you
of
just
people,
have to sing it.
Yeah, I know. I will remember. Copyright's going to come up quickly. I know that. Speaking of people who are going to get paid, of course, developers are going to get paid more and more because tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, are the Game Awards, and people will be getting some bonuses, I am sure. We are on Game Awards Eve, and just like last week, Rogers Base joined us and talked a little bit about his thoughts of Game Awards, his predictions, what can we expect from the big Nintendo, what surprises, what may be reveals. Alex, I'm going to put you in that hot seat. I'd love to know, what are you thinking about the Game Awards tomorrow?
I am excited. I don't know what I'm expecting, to be honest. I'm hoping we see Batman revealed finally. They've been teasing that for a few months now. And I'm hoping to see some sort of Nintendo announcement. I don't know. They tweeted out the other day, tune into the Game Awards and all that stuff. I don't know if they're promising an announcement, but I would love to see something on like an update on Animal Crossing. I don't think we're gonna get that. I think that'll be January, like a January Direct.
Yep.
But I have hope, like something like that. And then I would like to know just what's going on. There was a few 10-cent games that were announced at the Game Awards a couple years ago. It was a battle royale game. I can't remember the name of it. But I'm curious if we're gonna get any like updates on previous announcement from the Game Awards. But
okay,
I love any sort of like multiplayer game, any sort of battle royale. I love single player too. I love Batman. I love all these things. But I'm kind of in the mood for like a multiplayer games as of late. That's kind of what I've been into. So an announcement regarding that would be very exciting for me. Okay.
I think I did see, speaking of multiplayer online, I think Epic did say that they had something to announce regarding Fortnite tomorrow. Okay. So last year they did the Creative Island, I believe, or Creators Island.
Yeah.
So, and obviously we know that on Saturday is the last Rise of Skywalker trailer in Risky Reels. Mm-hmm. So they may have a couple things to do there. So traditionally, I mean, Nintendo has revealed a couple things here, right? I definitely do think we're gonna get our Smash, right? We're gonna get that character announcement for sure. Yeah. I think, right? Last year they announced Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Year before that, they announced Bayonetta. Year before that, they gave us some peeks and looks into Breath of the Wild as well. So I would expect a couple things from Nintendo for sure.
Do we think we're going to get another peek at Breath of the Wild?
Too?
No.
Way too early for that.
Yeah.
I think what happened with them, because they showed Breath of the Wild twice at back-to-back Game Awards, and it was like delayed. I don't think they're going to pull that card twice.
Yeah.
I don't think we hear anything about Breath of the Wild until E3 this year, and then the very end we're going to get like a trailer that's going to say November 2020.
I'm wondering if we're going to get a Metroid announcement.
That rumor was there last year though, right? Like everyone's like looking around the rumor rocks. We're like, well, it's nothing under here. Why don't we just say Metroid again?
Yeah.
Rumor rocks. That's good. That's good. Did you just come up with that?
did on the spot. Do you want that? You can keep it.
No, it's good.
Put it in your back pocket.
Good.
Use it for later. You're welcome.
Let me come in and crush the hype a little bit and crush the
All right,
dreams
please do.
We're not getting a Smash character reveal tomorrow. It's not happening.
Who wants to bet on this one? Anyone?
I don't want to bet on it, but I'm just telling you we're not getting one because the end date was quoted as February. We'll get one in the Nintendo Direct that comes out in January.
I'm expecting it too.
Really, I think we get the reveal here, but I don't think it comes available.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with Justin. I think we will have the reveal tomorrow night with it releasing in February-ish.
Yeah.
Maybe like the full breakdown in the Direct of January.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Well, the only reason I say that is because Banjo and Terry announcements have not had anywhere near the time between them from announcement to release as we've seen like with the previous two. So
the Joker had like a 4-month gap because still.
I think that it is much. I think there'd be much more hype for them to throw it in a January Direct, and we know we're probably getting a January Direct because we normally do around that time. So you throw it out in January, you finish it off in February, and then you say, hey, fall 2020 next DLC character. Yeah. That's when pack number 2 goes live. I don't know, I mean, I could see them doing it, but I also know, or I also believe that Nintendo's not going to be that predictable to do 2 Smash characters back to back years. But I will go ahead and throw out a safe prediction, and this is what I think the safe prediction is, that whatever announcement it's going to be while Reggie's on stage.
Yeah, I was going to say that he is going to be a presenter.
He's presenting. They didn't say what he's presenting. It's going to be while Reggie's on stage.
I'd love if Reggie just came out and was like, well, you've all asked for Mother 3. And then he goes,
and they're not getting it.
Bad.
So here's Arms 2.
Yeah, exactly. Just starts flipping the bird and then walks off.
Oh my gosh. Arms 2 in place of Mother 3 would be amazing. I would love it. Burn the internet down. What would be hilarious if he came out and let's just amalgamate all this. It's like, hey guys, Smash DLC character number 5, Fizumi. Boom.
There you go. Yep.
That'd be wild.
Fizumi with palette swap costumes for Iwata. There you go.
You're done. You're done. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm definitely expecting.
I want that amiibo.
I'm definitely expecting a reveal from them. I think for Smash, but definitely at least one other, trailer or something. Maybe like a preview, like a Pikmin 4.
I think it's going to be something out of left field again, like Bayonetta, like Marvel.
Yeah, it genuinely could be. It could be whatever this rumored remake of Metroid is potentially. It could be the Metroid trilogy. So I think there's a lot there. But I mean, the other thing that we just have to be very aware of is the fact that we, for Nintendo only at this point of 2020, know Animal Crossing in March, and we know Sharp FE in January. That is it. So they have a very large calendar to fill.
Yeah.
Now they are people they're a company that will traditionally reveal portions when they want to, but I mean we are coming, as the chat said, we're 20 days from 2020 and we don't know a lot for 2020. And I think that they have
we've had this conversation every year for the last 3 years. Yeah. I'm not worried.
No, either am I, but I think they have the ability to start telling their story.
It's time. Super Mario 3D World Deluxe. It's time.
Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, get out of here.
So on that note, on a deluxe version of a game, Wind Waker for Switch. I don't know. I've been waiting for it. What I really think is going to happen.
I'd buy that again.
Yeah, me too. What I really want, and what I think could happen, is I feel like it's about time to get a Mario sports game on the Switch. A Mario Golf.
Is it too close to Mario?
I was like, we had Mario Tennis.
I don't know. Like I was thinking like a Mario Strikers or something like that.
I really wish they'd revive the wrestling volleyball concept from a few years ago.
Do you think
I'm down for that?
Do you think we get some kind of update DLC for Mario Maker? I know we just had Mario Maker update now with the Zelda, but do we get like the other palette swap or the skin?
Like the Mario 2?
Yeah.
You know what I think? What if it was this? And I know we're purely in speculation.
Oh yeah, we're totally like.
I don't see. I can see that happening in January. I don't see that happening tomorrow.
Metroid Prime Trilogy for Switch now available with Morph Ball power up for Mario Maker 2.
That's a lot. That's a big sentence you just said.
That's a big,
it's taken a while to parse this sentence.
Just celebrate. I mean, let's just rain it all down right now.
Yeah.
Metroid Prime available now.
So are you saying, just like they added a Link with the Master Sword item, have some sort of Shozo statue item or something which turns you into Samus so you can do Samus things?
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it would.
Jerry, I noticed Jerry's in our chat here. I do notice, yes, we have Mario Tennis. I forgot. All right. I briefly forgot we had Mario Tennis.
Yeah.
And I mean, sorry. You're not wrong to have forgotten about
the year, Justin.
I know.
Mario Tennis
I played a lot of Mario Tennis when it released, and then I just fell off hard.
I played every month when they gave us the new character just to get the new character. But you know, that was a game that grew well. That was a game that grew well. Yeah. Speaking of the Game Awards, folks, we will be live streaming our reaction tomorrow. Am I right, folks?
That is
gentlemen?
correct.
That's the plan.
Cool. I won't be there, but
beginning at 7:30 Central Time.
Oh my gosh!
The only time that matters.
That is 6:30 Mountain.
6:30 Mountain Standard Time, folks. All right, that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Everyone else.
So Marty, you're available tomorrow?
I am here.
I'll be available.
We're gonna freak out together.
My son is going to try to be available because he plays more Smash than all of us combined, and he probably plays more Fortnite than all of us combined.
Can I ask you? You gave a time limit on this. Is this thing really 4 hours long?
7:30 to 11 Centrals is usually when they go. So yeah.
Oh.
So
Lord.
3.5 hours. They do have little commercial breaks. It's not constant.
Good luck, gentlemen. I'll be thinking of you while I'm at
get some
Christmas
rest
dinner.
tonight.
You're the one who wanted us to do this.
Oh, I know. I think it's good. I think it's good entertainment. To be completely honest, I think it's valuable for our audience. Audience in the chat, do you want to see it? Oh, they're all saying yes. Do you not read it? I mean, they're all
Don't you all want to
unanimously
see
saying
Justin
yes.
Madsen react to it?
No, they said too much. He's too much. It's too much. No, I mean, Alex and I are going to be busy playing Fortnite at that time. What do you want from me?
Of course.
Okay, I see how it is. Speaking of too much, why don't we talk about what we've been playing, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right, Alex, Nintendo Dad's tradition here. You're up first. What have you been playing?
The man goes for a drink of water, and you're like, you first, go.
Well,
no, it's fine. It's fine. I've been playing a lot of Fortnite. I'm not gonna lie. I've been kind of like tidying up. It's the end of the year. I've been revisiting old games. I've been playing a lot of Fortnite. I've also been playing a lot of Rainbow Six Siege, which is not a Nintendo game, so I will save that for later. But a lot of Fortnite. I play a lot with my family, so I play with my mom, my brothers, and we do a lot of squads, and it's been really fun. I've really enjoyed Chapter 2 so far. We're 9 weeks in, I think, and I'm loving it. But the main thing I've been sitting at when I sit down at night and I'm on the couch, I'm just relaxing. It's Pokemon Sword and Shield, specifically Pokemon Shield. I am now on the 4th gym leader, so I'm kind of behind a lot of people, but I'm taking my sweet time with it.
Not as far as I am.
Yeah,
okay, there you go.
I just finished.
That's
2.
exactly where I'm at. So
okay, I don't feel so bad then. There's other people who are like, I've completed the entire Pokedex, and I did it twice. I already beat it again. I'm like, okay.
We have a few of those on our Discord. Yeah, my son's starting a shiny hunt.
Yeah. So a lot of my Pokemon right now are like in the level 30s. So I went with Grookey. So I've almost got the 3rd evolution of Grookey, which I'm excited about. And then I'm rocking. I decided I was gonna. There was a temptation to. A lot of my favorite Pokemon are in this game, specifically Growlithe and Arcanine. They're some of my favorite Pokemon from being a kid. But I was like, you know what? It's a new game. I'm not gonna play with any of the old Pokemon. I'm only gonna play with Pokemon that I'm not familiar with. And I have not played Pokemon in quite a while, so there are a lot of those that might be not new for other people.
So they're not necessarily all Gen 8s, but they're new to you.
Correct.
Which is fair.
I think right now, actually, most of them, if not all, are Gen 8. And I can't. I'm awful with the Pokemon names.
You're not the
Um,
only one.
yeah, there's a Earth Horse that I have. I think Mudbray was the first evolution. I have the second evolution of that.
I
I have
don't know
a
what animal this is or what Pokemon this is.
yeah, pretty much. Pancham is like a fighting panda. Um, I have a bunch of different Pokemon. Point is, I'm enjoying it. It's that game that I go to at night, and I'm enjoying the first few gym leaders. I feel like they are very easy, and I do feel like there is a ramp up in difficulty as you progress, which is exciting for me because it's not fun to really steamroll. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah,
having these,
I did
one of the things
struggle
that
a little with the third one.
yeah, same here. That was the first one I did, and what I really love about the gym leaders is one, they're more difficult. Like I know the first gym leader you get there, you always expect, or at least as a kid, I always expected, okay, they're probably gonna be mostly level 10s, and then their last Pokemon will be like level 13 or something. And so I was expecting to steamroll that, and then the first gym leader, their last Pokemon is level 20. I'm like, oh, okay, like this is a little more involved. Like I actually might have to have some strategy here. So that continues to progress as you get through the gyms. And I really like what they've done with the new gyms, wherein there are gym challenges before every gym, and there are different activities. So the first gym, you are herding sheep. The second gym, it's a pretty simple but still fun to do a water maze that you're going through. And each one has like these new challenges in order to get, instead of just in past games, it's just a gauntlet of trainers that you have to beat to get to the gym leader. So I'm enjoying the new activities. I'm enjoying the variants. I'm having a lot of fun. So that's kind of what I've been playing. Pokemon Shield.
Awesome. Jesse, what about you?
Okay, so I did play a little bit of Tetris 99 last night with a new team battle, and I don't know if I was just unusually bad last night or if all the good players came back to try a new mode. But I didn't get it. I think the best I did was like 40th. And every time I picked a team, it was the first one eliminated. So every single time. So
well, it was obviously your fault then.
It must have been. Okay, then I also tried the Robonauts we talked about earlier. We got free from Cubic Games, and I said this earlier when I talked about playing Metroid Prime, and I don't know if y'all thought I was being facetious or not, but I said playing that type of shooter game was making me nauseous. I had the same feeling with this game. So, not to say it's a bad game. It's just I can't play these games. So I tried. I'll say I did that. I tried it, and it's going to get deleted next time I have on my Switch. But I liked what I did. I liked how it started. It just got too much for me really quick. Okay, then the last game I want to talk about is the Talos Principle Deluxe Edition. When I saw this at on the indie event, they talked about it as a first-person puzzle game, which kind of had some Portal vibes to me, and it's not completely wrong. You're not making wormholes or anything, but basically the gimmick of the game is you are a sentient artificial being in a simulation, and I think the end goal is, I don't know what the end goal fully is yet. I think I don't know if you're just trying to get out, or but really early on you are said this omnipotent voice character says, I'm able to go anywhere I want in this world except for the top of the tower. If I go there, I'll die. Which of course I want to go there now. That's probably where the end game is. Each little hub area has smaller subsections that, kind of equivalent to what a testing room is in Portal, and you're traversing the maze, and you learn really quick that there's an item called a jammer. It's just sitting on the ground. You can pick it up and place it anywhere else you want, and you use it to disable these attack spheres or this laser cannon or this energy barrier that you can't pass through. So that's the gameplay pretty much is just manipulating these jammers so far. The end goal is to pick up this, what they call a sigil. It's basically like a Tetris piece. And once you've collected enough of these pieces, you're able to go to a gate that says, in order to open this gate, you need these three sigil. And so once you collect them, you go to the gate, and it gives you a 4x3 grid, and you put the pieces in to make it a solid rectangle, and then unlocks it, giving you access to the next section.
Mm-hmm.
And so initially, the first section is you have to get the 3 sigil, and that's all you can do. Once you get past that, you're in an area that has 5 sigil, and it's just marked area A1. Once you get past that, you're able to get into the area A hub, which has total of 7 zones. Once you beat A2, you'll have enough pieces to actually get into the real hub, which gives you access to World A, World B, World C, each with their own subworlds, and the tower.
Oh, dang.
So, yeah, it starts off with really small scopes, but it opens up. So, it's, they say 120 puzzles, and I think I've solved 10 so far, maybe 12. So this will have a ways for me to go. Each sub world, what I called A1, A2, has between 3 and 5 pieces in it. Most have 3 or 4. Very few will have 5. So it doesn't take long to get through them. But so far I'm having fun with it, and I'll continue to play through it. And in the main menu, it had the Talos Principle as an item, and then another. That's probably what the deluxe edition means. I don't know what that is yet.
Yeah.
So this is what I've never heard of Talos Principle, but I got the feeling this was available other places first, like probably on Steam.
Yeah.
And this is now like that plus something new, which again I haven't looked at yet, so I don't know what it is. I'll get to that at some point and talk about it more when I know more about that.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, I really want to pick that up too. I've never played it. I've always wanted to, so I think Switch is the perfect place.
Yeah, so it does kind of fill that Portal type of hole.
Mm-hmm.
Bad pun, but that it scratches that itch. And I've actually wanted to replay through Portal and Portal 2 recently, so I think this is satisfying that.
Yeah.
I would love to see Portal 1 and 2 come to Switch at some point, but
I wouldn't
probably not going to happen.
I wouldn't mind seeing it, but I wouldn't play it because I tried playing Portal on PS3 and it did not work well. I prefer mouse and keyboard for that.
Gotcha. Justin, what have you been playing, man?
Fortnite and Pokemon Shield. I'm near the 3rd gym, so I'm still getting through it as well. But I am liking it. I think the thing that I'll talk about, because I think this is the thing that people want to know the most about, or that I would say, is Dauntless. I've been playing Dauntless. That's what I've been playing for the last day. Yeah, so let's talk about that. So I was saying before that I wanted something that was kind of this has been on my radar. I like the idea of Fortnite. I like the idea of this kind of coming together, doing missions. I think, like you're mentioning, Alex, like, hey, you have family or couch co-op. Solos are fun, but I like to jump in there, and I've been having a lot of fun with playing some duos with a friend of mine. So Dauntless was kind of like that new thing. And I think the best way I could describe it is like Fortnite-esque times or mixed with Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
So that is the best way to describe it. So essentially you have to go against these behemoths, which are giant monsters that you face in a battle. Now, what you can do is you can go solo, so it's just yourself against it. And then what you basically need to do beforehand is you kind of find out what kind of behemoth it is. And so then you want gear to match or to at least counter it, right? So if it's ice, you want fire gear, essentially, right? Not too overly difficult. But there is a level of strategy that you have to deploy. Make sure that you have the health mats to go in. Make sure you have energy, and you can have these kind of different alchemy potions to support your time there as well. And then you go in for a hunt. So I did a couple ones by myself. And the first couple times, I mean, it's not overly difficult, right? You're learning the controls, you're feeling comfortable with it. And then I joined a squad of just 4 random people, jumped in, and that was quite enjoyable. Me and my friend played duos together, and that was great. And then we did like the 2 of us plus 2 randoms. That was great. I will also say we didn't win every single time.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So there was actually like we went against one actually today. It took us like 12 or 13 minutes of four of us, and we did not win. Like it killed all of us beforehand. Like so it was like, you do get rewards for going against it, but you don't get the full loot, right? You get some of the loot. So that's kind of a nice cool. They also have the ability, very much like in Fortnite, especially with the new changes now, where you can actually see, not necessarily see progression, but hey, you have accomplished this thing. You've accomplished this goal you're looking for. You see the check mark show off. There you go. So those kind of like those little dopamine hits of you've accomplished this thing, right? You visited Risky Reels 5 times, click. You can kind of see those things going off on it. One of the things I would say about it in general, when you're actually on the island fighting the behemoths, that's a ton of fun, right? That's kind of where your meat and potatoes are. That's where the enjoyable are. Each interaction is probably anywhere between, I don't know, 5 to 15 minutes, depending on how many people are in your squad, how tough the beast is, how prepared you were, right? Kind of all those pieces. And the other nice part is that, like, so for example, we went against a beast today, a behemoth, and we got it down to like, you could actually see, okay, it's got it down to half health, and we're like banging at it. We're like, it's great. And then it like rised up. And this one was a bug. It was a bug or a bird. It like flew up, and then it flew down into the earth and burrowed and disappeared. And you're like, okay, so where'd it go? So then it's at a different spot in the island. So then everyone kind of starts searching. So everyone kind of like scatters.
Monster use dig. It's super effective.
Yeah, exactly. He goes to scatter, and then maybe like, Alex is out. He's trying to find it. He all of a sudden finds it, and he can shoot up a flare, and then we all go to find him. But he's there by himself for a couple minutes while we're trying to solve it, and then we all kind of jump in. So it's kind of this also like a little bit of chasing when you need to as well. And then the island, you're actually collecting gear and collecting kind of like the plants and vegetation that's around it that you're going to use later to actually accomplish some of your objectives. So that's really great. So on the island, that kind of fun, that's a lot of good times. I really enjoy that. The challenge I have with it, and this is a little bit of the, but when you go to Ramsgate is kind of like your hub world, right? This is where you can run around and you can see players from all over the world playing. And they're, hey, by the way, here's the armor place, so you can go and get your armor done up, and you change your colors. I felt like at every interaction, they really, really want you to pay for something. They really, like, every time you go, like, oh, I'll go over into this armor set. Like, I accidentally, your man who's kind of like, hey, I have armor, and I was just like, oh, popping by to see him. And the moment I open, he's like, hey, here's the store, and this will cost you 600
Want a battle pass?
Yeah, exactly. Want a battle pass to 600 platinums. And it's, like, that's the thing I do admire about Fortnite. It's like, here's your battle pass. If you want it, you can buy it. If not, that's cool, right? Like, they don't really, really push it on you. But I felt like with Dauntless, every single time I interact with somebody, they're always asking, like, basically, would you like to buy more? Oh, you like that dye color? Not a problem. You can definitely spend 300 platinum that you need to spend, $6 Canadian to get that platinum. Do you have to buy this stuff? No, you don't have to, right? And so that's kind of a nice part. But I definitely felt like that was very, very in your face at various points that I didn't care much for. But there's a lot of side missions, right? There's your main mission, and then your village people at Ram's Head, you can actually accept side missions. So as simple as like, hey, when you're out there, I'm looking for 4, Raven Claws. It happens to be that when your hunt, you kill it, your reward is like 10 Raven Claws. You bring it back to your man, and you get some gold and some stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So there is a lot of that. The battle.
You ever get Hufflepuffs as well?
I mean, why would you not, right? Some Slytherins as well. And the other thing I would say with like the battle pass is it's slow to move, right? So we played for almost 2.5 hours today, and we only got, I think, 1 or 2 levels on our battle pass. It's all experience based, but there's a lot of challenges, right? Like you have to play with your friends online for 8 matches. You have to use only swords for 3 matches. So there's a lot of kind of those qualifiers that I think are really enjoyable. It's a free-to-play game, so no harm, no foul to download it. It's only 5 or 6 gigs. And then if you wanted to join in for the Battle Pass for this season, it's on sale, I think, for like $6.99. So,
question.
Yes.
I played this on PS4 when it first released briefly.
Yep.
I had fun, but I ran into major performance issues, especially in the town. Is that present, or have they ironed that out?
That is definitely present.
Okay.
So it almost feels like the town so Ram's Head and then like the actual islands almost feel like they're running on completely different platforms or systems and servers.
Yeah.
Because like the lag spikes that we had in the town and the performance issues were a little bit ridiculous. But then when I was actually out on an island fighting Behemoth, I never really experienced. It was fine. So
which makes sense because you'd have just like in terms of MMO, your cities will be where everyone gathers, and then when you go out on a mission, it'll spin off an instance server. Yeah. Where only your group will be in it.
So maybe that does make sense, but I would definitely say, that does not appear to be polished yet in the side there, Alex. So if that is something that was a concern, so like I said, the most fun I have is when I'm actually out fighting, right? Mm-hmm. And then the most tedious part is like, okay, now I'm back here, and now but after every match, you go back to Ramsgate, so. You can easily join back up again. I sometimes find the server queue is a little bit long too, but I don't know. Little things to be worked out, but it's a lot of fun. I'd highly recommend it if you're kind of like a Monster Hunter cross Fortnite world. This is definitely it.
Yeah, I might give this a shot again. I had a blast when I played it. I think it just came out around a busy time, so I think I got up to like the second or third monster, and very fun. So I'm glad it's on Switch. I feel like that's like the perfect place to have it. So
for sure, and I've got like a ton of different like skins and gear now already, and it's like like I said, they do the dopamine hits pretty easily, pretty quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you got Twitch Prime, you get some extra stuff too, right?
Ooh. Yeah, Twitch Prime they have, and because I knew I had Dauntless on my radar for a while, so they had back in August, they're like, here's some Dauntless stuff, and I was like, I don't have Dauntless yet, but I'm going to claim this, and I'm going to take this reward key, and that's exactly what I did. So I cashed in 2 reward keys yesterday, and I got 2 different Dauntless sets of gear and ammo, and then they also launched the Skyward
Storm
Chasers set for Switch as well. That's a free download, so there's lots of little freebies that you can grab as well.
Yeah, and is that Nintendo Switch exclusive, or is that just there's skins that are exclusive?
Switch exclusive, that one.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, very cool.
As I said, the DLC I think would be cross-platform, but there are Switch-specific skins.
Correct.
Right, but the DLC is locked to the Switch for a set period of time. I think it's a Nintendo Switch exclusive for now.
Yeah.
I've downloaded this game. I'm probably gonna dig into it tomorrow when I have a little bit more time and Friday. But I do want to talk about 2 games I've been playing. The first is Tools Up, which just launched on the Switch. And Justin, this is definitely one I think you want to keep on your radar since you love Overcooked so much. It is couch co-op home improvement. And so you go into a house,
right,
and you have to either like paint the walls or redo the floor or clean up debris and things like that. And eventually you'll have to, like, we're at a point, because I'm just playing with my son right now, like we've progressed maybe 4 or 5 levels into the game, and you're having to like actually make up mortar to like put on the walls so they can be painted. But what's interesting about it is there's a fair amount of deconstruction that has to be done before you can do renovation. So like some rooms will be one color, and you have to go in and actually take the paint down off the walls and throw it away. And then at the end of the level to finish, you have to carry all of your materials outside and like clean up. So it's really neat. It's really well done. The control system, like just the whole thing, there's some problems I have with it, but I'm hoping that it's stuff that they iron out in future updates, just to make it a little more smooth. But it's been such a phenomenal thing so far, and it kind of eases you into it. I feel like Overcooked did not do that good a job of it in the very beginning. Like it just kind of threw you into the fire, no pun intended. But this does a good job of kind of preparing you there at the beginning, and so I would highly recommend it if you like the kind of Overcooked, what's the space one, Catastronauts, type thing. If you this is right up that alley, and it's well done, and it's a lot of fun. And you can unlock different skins and things. Right now, we've unlocked a like a hamster or beaver thing that's in overalls with a hard hat on. It's really cute. It's a lot of fun. So that's tools up. I've also been playing the long-awaited Shovel Knight King of Cards expansion, which is the final component of Shovel Knight Treasure Trove, including the Shovel Knight Showdown game. I got mixed feelings about this one. I was really, really excited for this because number one, I mean, I wanted to play it because the last go round, Spectre Knight, was just that DLC is phenomenal, and it's easily the best iteration of Shovel Knight. And so I mean, I guess I kind of went into this with high hopes, especially because the wait was so long. Right, the wait was just ridiculous. It was 2 years or more from the last one. The platforming aspect of it is fantastic, which we've come to expect from Yacht Club. The King Knight's main form of attack is a shoulder charge that you can hit enemies with or hit walls with, and then he'll spin, and then you can land on things and continue to bounce. And after you hit and spin and bounce, you can dash again. All right. And so it sets up a lot of really cool flying through the air, timing your moves right, platforming combos, right? What sucks about this DLC is that they shoehorned in a card battling game that is very, very reminiscent of the card battle game in Skylanders, if you ever played Skylanders back in the day. Only it's not as good. It's very rudimentary, and it's absolutely necessary to the story, which makes it suck even more. Like, instead of it just being straight platforming and like, I'm going to go from point A to point B and King Knight, and it's awesome. No, his quest is to become the King of Cards, which means you have to play Joustus, which is the name of this game, and it is horrible.
One of the people I follow on Twitter actually has the reverse opinion. He loves the card game, but doesn't like the platforming part.
The way that the card game works is a 4x4 or 9x9 square, where there's gems on it, and you have to have your cards over the gems, have the majority of them to win. Okay. The idea here is that the cards have arrows on them, and you can push other cards out of the way or onto certain things, unless there is an opposite facing arrow somewhere in the line. And where it breaks down is that in the beginning of the game, you don't have a lot of great cards. The opportunity is there to get great cards in the beginning, but I came up very quickly on like the first card house or whatever, where you fight or play a series of people in a row, and the end of that is the Black Knight. I guess, is that his name in the game? Like Shovel Knight's rival. And he has incredibly overpowered cards, and when you lose one of your cards. They strip you of the card and it goes to your opponent. And then later on, you can buy these cards back for a very minimal cost. But during that, the card game interrupts the flow of the game to me. And I don't know if it's just, I don't get it. It's not clicking for me yet or whatever. Play a lot of board games and feel like I'd be good at a card game. I'm not. It sucks. It breaks the experience. And so I'm loving the platforming. I'm glad this is free, because if I ended up paying for it in the end, I would have been disappointed.
Gotcha. Alex, how do you feel about Shovel Knight? Was this a franchise that rang true to you?
No, I enjoyed the Shovel Knight. I enjoyed Shovel Knight, but I never kind of clicked with it. I don't necessarily have that. Although a lot of those games existed when I was a kid, I never really was a 2D platformer kid. I really caught on to games N64, and by that point it was all about the 3D platformers and stuff. But I respect Shovel Knight and Hollow Knight. I was going to say Hollow Knight on accident. I respect that game too, but I respect Shovel Knight a lot, and I really love what that team's been able to do. So I was very curious how King of Cards, right, is what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very curious how that was going to pan out. So, because I do like I like 2D platformers now. I really have a bigger appreciation for them these days than I did when Shovel Knight first came out. So I was curious, like, because I have a love for card games. That's unfortunate that it's not necessarily vibing with you, because the combination, like, that could be cool if they nailed it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to play this.
I mean, I'm playing it because I want to finish it. I want to complete the narrative. It's free. I'm probably never going to touch the Shovel Knight Showdown fighting game.
Yeah.
Like, I really, as I've been saying the whole time, like, as they've been developing it, this is like nobody asked for this, right? If that's what delayed King of Cards for so long, no one was going, you know what? I really just want a 2D Shovel Knight fighting game. I've really got to have that. So I feel like there were some missteps there, but I am excited for them to move on from Shovel Knight. And the Cyber Ninja game looks really cool. I'm ready to see some more of that. And so, I mean, mixed feelings here on the whole the King of Cards thing, but I'm going to play it out to the end. And like I said, the platforming aspect of it, I'm really enjoying. It's really good. So, like, I've been able to do some really insane things with his abilities. And you know, of course, there's upgrades and there's new things that you can get, like a giant hammer or like a narwhal dart that you can throw across the screen.
Really?
Or a remote control rat bomb that this rat's running across the screen with a bomb, and you can make it turn and go back and forth. And one of the attacks you earn is multiple slaps, like you're slapping with a glove. So and the story's very humorous too. So I appreciate what they've done. It's just I don't appreciate all of it.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's what we've been playing. How about we move into our community spotlight and shine that spotlight on OK Beast and Alex here for just a few minutes.
Do it.
So, Alex, we want to thank you again for coming on the show tonight, man. It's been awesome to have you. I really hope you've enjoyed your time. What we want to do right here during this time is just shine the spotlight on you, on OK Beast, and just there may be people who listen to Nintendo Dads that have no clue who you are or what your website does, what your podcast, all the stuff that you're involved in. So take a few minutes and tell us all about you.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for the invite, guys. I know that I've heard about Nintendo Dads forever, for ages. And then I started listening recently as well, and have really enjoyed the show. So I really appreciate the invite, and thank you for giving me the time to plug stuff, I guess. The show that I host is a podcast every single Monday. It's the OK Beast podcast, and it's me, my stepdad, and two friends, and we sit down, Blessing and Ian, and we sit down and do something similar to this, different show structure, but similar theme, talking about news, games we've been playing. So if that's something that you a podcast, I mean, I know if you're listening to this, you like this kind of podcast. So if you want another one in your gaming, your gaming belt of podcasts, then I'd certainly love if you checked out the OK Beast podcast. If you like Apex Legends, I host the #1 Apex Legends podcast called Jump Master. That is every other week. And then videos we do over at youtube.com/OKBeast. We kind of 2019 was like a year of rest in some ways, especially on the video front. We typically kind of cut our teeth on video essays for a long time, and that's something that we still do, and we actually are ramping up production again on a lot of things on that side. But regardless, whatever you want to check out, okbeast.com has it all. And then if you want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram, it's @itsvanaken. So thank you so much for letting me share that, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, y'all go check out their shows, go check out the website, go check out the videos. Awesome awesome quality content you guys are producing over there. And again, we're so thankful you got to come and be on the show. And so, again, follow him on Twitter, follow the other guys out there, and definitely go check out OK Beast. Well, guys, that is episode 258. We want to thank you for listening tonight. And man, it's been good to be back on the show. It's been good to hang out with you guys, have Alex on, talk some Nintendo. And again, don't forget to tune in tomorrow night right here on YouTube and Twitch, and watch us live react to the Game Awards. There may be all kinds of surprise guests like Jesse's son and everyone else that may come in during the night. We're hopefully going to hear some really sweet Nintendo news tomorrow night during that time. But as we close out the show, we want to say a huge thanks to our Patreon producers. That's Chris Mears, Dave Ernsberger, and Sean Abbott. Without you guys, we couldn't make the show. But also without all of our Patreon folks over there, whether it's $1 or a month, all the way up that you donate to us. Thanks so much for your support of the show. And you can head over to our brand new website. I guess it's not brand new anymore, but hey, over there on nintendodads.org, you can find all of our YouTube videos, our tweets, podcast episodes, links to our social media, our Patreon page, and the Nintendo Dads shop for Nintendo Dads merch. If you're like Jesse, you just got a brand new phone, or maybe you've ripped your favorite t-shirt, you can head over there, buy Nintendo Dads merch like t-shirts, phone covers, all kinds of stuff, high quality stuff over there, and you can find it at nintendodads.org. Or you can check us out at most places like Patreon, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and more by typing in Nintendo Dads. Boom, there will be. Just type in Nintendo Dads. You'll be able to find us all over social media. Email us at nintendodads@gmail.com or podcast@nintendodads.org. Both work. Both come to the same place. We'd love to hear from you via email. Or you can even call in and leave a voicemail at 929-25-NDADS. That's 929-256-3237. We want to say a big thanks to OC Remix for the music used throughout the show. And we want to remind you, it is kind to go on your favorite podcast app of choice or service of choice and give us a 5-star rating and a review so other people can help, or you can help other people find the show, push us up the rankings. So, hey, more people listen. So head on over there, give us a review, give us a rating. Thank you for very much. For me, for Justin, for Jesse, and for Alex, this has been episode 258 of Nintendo Dads. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
Grookey or Gruka? I don't know.